right, well, Vinny, you came to the show prepared with some takes of your own. I want to hear them. This is your chance. Give me your takes, and I'll give you my responses.
Okay, so I have 5 surprise teams of the week.
Okay.
5 surprise team performances of the week. I think number 5 for me is that Giants come back from 20-0 at half. From the first half, I thought Arizona Cardinals, they had it done deal, set. They weren't losing that game. All of a sudden, red zone kept going back to that game, and the Giants end up winning. I was just absolutely surprised about it. I had Arizona winning that game. I think they should have won that game, but the Giants came back. That was a really good performance by them, I thought.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that game?
I thought Daniel Jones put on a Herculean effort. He saved the Giants' relevancy. The problem for the Giants, their next 4 games, they play the 49ers, and then they play, I believe, it's some kind of combination of the Niners, Seahawks, Eagles, and Cowboys. So the chances that there's a good chance that the Giants could be staring down 1-5, even despite that great win. And 1-5 is something hard to recover. I think the Giants are an average team, but they suffer from having a really, really hard schedule.
Yes.
And so they could be irrelevant. And then even if they do win some games towards the end of the year against the Washington Commanders and some of those other teams that might be, but even the Commanders look good right now.
Yeah.
So, there's a chance the Giants could be irrelevant in 2 weeks.
I have to agree with that.
They play the 49ers on Thursday in 2 days on Thursday.
Yeah,
they're going to get destroyed.
They're getting destroyed. I mean,
That's not even a game.
It's going to be week 1 Cowboys all over again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be fun. Well, that was number 5. Number 4 surprise of the week was the Seahawks comeback win in overtime. I got to say, as a Seahawks fan, you must be stoked about that.
Look, the Seahawks are the team that I thought they were. They're the 5th best team in the NFL.
The 5th best team in the NFL?
Best team in the NFL.
Oh,
you guys
boy.
will see the tiers tomorrow. My power ranking tiers, but the Seahawks, I'm just going to spoil it right now. I didn't move them down. I put them at 4 in the preseason. I moved them from 4 to 5 after the Rams lost, and I've kept them at 5 after the Lions win. I don't like to overreact to early in the season. I am sticking with my guns. The Seattle, and we're going to play the Panthers next week. That's an easy win.
I will agree with that.
So just watching how the Panthers have played, if we lose to the Panthers, then I would probably drop the Seahawks maybe to like 9th or 10th.
Yeah.
But
I think you should drop them a little lower than just 9 and 10.
I'm a week-by-week guy. My list is fluid, but it's not that fluid. So
Okay.
Seattle, people, I love that no one believes in us still, because it just gives more reason for our boys to fight. They say, we're going to shock the world when we go in Seattle on Thanksgiving and beat the 49ers. But
I'm not saying it's impossible.
It's very, very possible.
But it's highly unlikely.
And we're
going to
beat the Rams again, too. We're going to beat the Rams, and we're going to get revenge against them.
All right.
And 2 wins against the Cardinals. We got 2 free wins on the schedule against Arizona, which is
I don't know if they're
awesome.
free wins, man.
They are definitely free wins.
The Commanders
The Cardinals are clearly trying to lose. They blew a 21-0 lead at half.
Was it 21? I thought it was 20.
It was 20-0, and then it was 20-7, and then it was 28-7.
Yes.
And then from there, they ended up losing 31-28. So the Seahawks, I just can't wait till everyone else realizes how good we are. People who picked us to make the Super Bowl, to make the AFC Championship game, or the NFC Championship game, people picked us to win the division, and those same people now don't even consider us for being in their top 10 power rankings. I think that's ridiculous, because we just proved it. We beat America's favorite team, the Lions. Last week, everyone was talking
America's favorite team is the Cowboys.
Last week,
and I don't like that.
Last week, everyone was talking about how good the Lions are. Oh, they beat the Chiefs. Well, so by that logic, the Seahawks are better than the Chiefs as well. So
I hate
explain that to me in the comments. If you're a Seahawks hater, explain that to me. I know you're not, because all Seahawks fans watch the show.
Well, I will say this. I'm sorry, Seahawks, but I do have you at a top 10. But the top 10
I know.
worst
You have
teams.
us at like 27. Ridiculous.
24.
This guy does not know how to do power rankings.
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll go over those.
Well, anyway, going back to my top 5 surprises of the week. Number 3, the defensive showdown in Jacksonville. I thought that was shocking to me. I thought it would be a much more high-powered offensive game.
That's my surprise. That's my biggest surprise. The Jaguars looking very mediocre. I don't know where I went wrong on the Jaguars.
I thought it was just a really good defensive performance by the Jaguars, but I also believe that the offensive capability of the Chiefs has lacked.
The Chiefs' offense is not the same.
And it's not the same.
They need more weapons.
They need more weapons. I don't think it's they need more weapons. I think they need to develop some of these weapons because they have the weapons. I mean, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney.
They're going to be good. Kadarius Toney drops half the balls that are thrown as well.
That is also true. I mean, wasn't that DK Metcalf a couple years ago too?
No, DK Metcalf's always been elite.
Okay there.
Tyler Lockett had a couple of rough years.
All right then. Number 2, I think the Hail Mary of Denver not working out in the end was just absolutely crazy to me. I thought after they got that Hail Mary, it was 2-point conversion, go to overtime, but they screwed it up. Unfortunate for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, my heart hurts today for Russell Wilson. The guy balled out 3 touchdowns, made the Hail Mary, running around for his life. He was sacked 7 times. He did throw a pick. It was not a good pick, so that's on him. But he was sacked 7 times, and there are people today in the media who are crucifying this guy. They are crucifying. I tell you, tomorrow when I guarantee you that Drew will try to crucify Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is not the issue in Denver. The same reason why Kirk's not the issue in Minnesota. The same reason why, I'm sure there's the same reason why last year Matthew Stafford was not the issue in Los Angeles. Sometimes teams go through these rough stretches. The Broncos have lost twice at home to 2 inferior opponents, at least from when you look at the roster on paper, to 2 inferior opponents, both at home. They're 0-2, and the offense has looked good. Russell Wilson has 5 touchdowns this year and 2 interceptions.
That's pretty good.
And he's been sacked 11 times. I think he's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL right now. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think there might be
he's clearly up there for the most sacks in the NFL. It's the same exact thing he was in Seattle. Yeah. Russell's never had a good line, and people are saying it's Russell's fault. He's not clutch anymore.
It's not Russell's
Russell
fault.
Shouldn't have to be clutch when your defense is branded as one of the best in the league. And then what does your defense do? Their defense just let the Commanders score 28 in a half. It was 21-3, and then it was 35-21. Or 35-24. So the Commanders went on a 32-3 run, and Russ only turned the ball over once. They also missed a field goal. The Denver Broncos have missed 3 field goals this year as well. So
McManus missed 3?
They don't have McManus anymore.
Oh, they don't?
McManus is with the Jags. They have Will Lutz.
Will Lutz.
Back from the Saints, also with Sean Payton. So Payton clearly likes Will Lutz, but only 2 kickers in the league have missed 3 field goals. Jason Myers, Will Lutz. So
that's crazy.
Clearly, there's issues in Denver that I don't think is necessarily Russell's fault. And he still doesn't have Tim Patrick. He still has a limited Jerry Jeudy. Cortland Sutton is, in my opinion, one of the worst number 1 receivers in the league. And then you've got this Marvin Mims guy who went off the other day. But it's not like he has no good tight ends. His running backs is Javonte Williams, who's average, and Samaj P. Ryan, the backup, again. He's like an average backup. It's not like the Broncos are just full of weapons all left and right. This is an average team, and the quarterback's trying to elevate them. He's just not doing a good enough job.
Yeah, I think, that leads me. Well, that doesn't lead me to anything, but I just do believe that the Broncos, man, it's kind of hard to see Russell Wilson have nothing, absolutely nothing.
It's painful, man.
It's painful. But this leads me to my number 1 surprise take of the week. Panthers should never be shown on prime time for the remainder of this season. The Panthers were absolutely terrible on offense. Their defense was good, but that offense was just hideous. I do not want to see them again. I thought it was terrible watching that game.
Well, I'm confused what you're surprised about.
I was surprised.
Did you think they were going to be good?
I thought the Panthers offense was going to be a lot better, but clearly to me, the Panthers need to work on their offense. And I think they're going to be vying for a top 10 pick for this season.
Oh, I mean, I think that all 4 of the NFC South teams, when it's all said and done, I don't believe in any of them.
No, I believe in some.
And again, you guys will see on my tiers tomorrow. I'm pretty excited to make the grand reveal. Look, maybe one of them will end up being good, but between the 4 of them, between the 3 undefeated teams in that division, my guess is that at least 2 of them will finish with a losing record, probably all 3. But I'm not going to try to predict which of the 3 is actually legit. So I'm just going to predict that they all suck, because it's true. I mean, going into the season, nobody believes in any of these teams, and I see no reason why 2 games against a bunch of bad teams like the Bears and the Cardinals should change that. But yes, with the Panthers, the defense clearly good. I think they will improve as the season goes on. But Bryce Young does not look ready.
I think it's more or less just the unit. It's the same thing as the Steelers, except the Steelers having more to put together. Panthers, rookie quarterback, a lot of options, but it's just the meshing is not there yet. I mean, DJ Chark, Adam Thielen, Jonathan Mingo, those are the three guys right now. Maybe I'm missing some others, but all of those are new to the Panthers. Honestly,
Yeah, Hayden Hurst at tight end.
Oh yeah, Hayden Hurst has been good too, but they're all new to the team. So you're asking people to mesh year one, and I understand that it's kind of hard, it's kind of difficult, but I thought they would mesh a little bit better, not like this absolutely terrible performance that I saw on Monday night.
Yeah, I mean, here's a question for you, Vinny. Out of the three rookie quarterbacks, rank them for me right now, one, 2, and 3. Because I know what I think. I want to hear what you think.
Well, Bryce Young's number 3. I legitimately thought that he would be number 2, and I thought the Panthers would do a lot better.
Yeah.
But that clearly hasn't been shown after 2 weeks. Well, number 2, I'm probably going to surprise people with this one. I'm going to put Anthony Richardson number 2.
I agree.
And I believe C.J. Stroud is number 1, and that was going to be some of my key player performance this week. I believe that C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins is going to be a top 10 wide receiver quarterback duo for the season.
I'm not going not for this year. I wouldn't go that far, but I will say.
But they look good. They look good. And I was really surprised by their performance. I mean, they look. I mean, is it a rookie to rookie? Nico Collins is a rookie. Am I right?
I don't think Nico's a rookie, but it's his first year of being like a known player.
Of a known player, yeah, but they look. He had put up great stats. Like he put up like
picked
140
him up on
yards.
2 of my fantasy teams today.
Yeah, I had to pick him up. I traded for him in my fantasy because he looks good, and I think C.J. Stroud actually may be a good quarterback for the Texans. And I think after week 1, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, Texans are going to be tanking for Caleb Williams," but I don't think they need to. I think C.J. Stroud, given that he looks good in the next few weeks, they don't need to tank for Caleb Williams.
I'll tell you, the Texans can't tank because their pick, I believe, belongs to the Cardinals.
Oh, that might also be true.
So the Texans are tanking for the Cardinals to get another really high pick, which could potentially be Marvin Harrison Jr., which would be crazy if they get that, because then they end up with the best receiver and quarterback in the draft. The Texans aren't going to win a lot of games, but C.J. Stroud does look good, and I thought it would be swapped. I thought it would be Young, Richardson, Stroud.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But from what I've seen, Richardson has the highest ceiling, but he's a little too irrational. I think
He also
he just kind of runs around, which is fine. We've seen guys like Lamar, Jalen do that. He'll mature, and I think Richardson will probably end up being the best of the 3 when it's all said and done. But right now, Stroud looks the most NFL ready. He's over there throwing dots to guys and keeping the Texans in football games. I mean, yeah, I'm impressed.
No, I'm thoroughly impressed.
When Gardner Minshew entered the game, I thought possibly the Texans might orchestrate a comeback. They didn't, but...
Yeah, no, I thought the Texans, I thought this was going to be a bleak year. I thought they were going to be down in the
they're still going to be down in the gutter.
They're still, but like down in the gutter, no light. Like no dark, they're just straight darkness. But there's a little gleaming light with C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. And if the rest of the season goes on, like I think they will, and they will develop to something like a top 10 wide receiver quarterback duo, I think the future looks bright for the team as long as they get the picks in the draft. They get the right players they need, the defensive picks. Well, actually, they don't need the defensive picks because the defense actually looks pretty decent. They just need the more offensive lineman picks. And I think a lot of these teams in the NFL right now need the offensive lineman picks because it looks a little shaky with a lot of these teams.
And who had 2 of the best rookie offensive linemen in the league last year?
Who was it?
Oh, who was it?
We
got the logo right there.
Okay, the Seahawks.
Yeah, the Seahawks, who Vinny thinks is the 24th best team in the NFL. But let's continue.
Okay.
What else do you got for me, Vinny?
Well, I got some just key player performances. I mentioned the C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, quarterback wide receiver duo. But I also got to say Swift and the Eagles, man. 175 yards rushing, man. That was pretty impressive in my eyes. What do you think about that?
I mean, the Eagles, I'm not going to overreact. DeAndre Swift he had a good week. He's probably not going to replicate that. The Eagles,
probably not.
Eagles, last year, it would be one game with Miles Sanders going off. The next game, it would be somebody else. The next game, Jalen Hurts would get 100 yards. The next game, it would be their third string. Like, the Eagles just rotate through running backs, and they get the most production out of them. It speaks more about how good the Eagles are than how good DeAndre Swift is.
That's true, but I want to point out to DeAndre Swift because he probably won't have another 175-yard rushing game.
Great game, though.
Yes. Justin Jefferson, 11 receptions for 159 yards. Something else I wanted to mention.
And it cost him the game.
He also cost him the
Fumbled
game.
out of the end zone.
He did, but I mean, he's leading the year. He's leading the league in receiving yards with like 306 or something like that. I think the next guy is like 268. I think that's Puca Nakua. No, Puca Nakua is 247. I also want to mention him. He had a great first 2 weeks with the Rams.
Yeah.
And I have to pose a question to you. This is my hot take. I think, despite Cooper Kupp coming back, Puca Nakua will become wide receiver number 1. What do you think about that?
Disagree. Too early to say that. I think when they come back, Nakua and Kupp will both probably average like 7 to 10 receptions a game.
Okay.
It'll be probably a 1A, 1B, but I don't think either of them will put up the elite numbers that they have put up without each other.
Okay.
So.
Do you think it will be a complimentary like wide receiver duo?
Oh, certainly complimentary. And Van Jefferson has been pretty much absent the entire season, but
Tutu Atwell.
They also, I mean, with Atwell and Jefferson, that's a good receiving core, and that's one of the reasons why the Rams, I have them very high as well in power rankings.
I got I'm saying Bijan Robinson, second best running back in the league right now. He's looking fantastic with the Falcons. But surprise pick, James Cook number 3, or do you think it's too early with just one game?
No, I would say running back wise, right now it's hard not to put CMC at 1.
Oh, of course, CMC is 1. No one's denying that.
I think I would say I could give you Bijan at 2, but if you want to talk about 3, Kyren Williams has a better argument for 3 than
but
James
he's
Cook
coming
does.
But he's not coming out of the backfield. He's getting those passes.
He's getting those passes, but but from a running back standard, I'm looking at production value overall.
All right. Well, I just thought James Cook had a great season. Great
he did have a good game, and he could definitely ascend. I would probably say McCaffrey, then Robinson, and then I that's crazy that I'm putting Kyren Williams at number 3. But right now in the season,
that is crazy.
I'm not saying overall. Overall, it's probably McCaffrey, Eckler, and Derrick Henry. But this season, Bijan having a great year, so I have no problem saying he's number 2 right now.
And I want to highlight Mike Evans, 2 back-to-back great weeks for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Baker's never had a better weapon.
Absolutely. Does that mean that Baker's not going to have a top 5 wide receiver, and Mike Evans is going to be that? Or do you think Mike Evans is going to kind of fall out a little bit in later the year?
Well, the history shows that he won't. Mike Evans has had like 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons.
Yeah, he'll definitely have a 1,000-yard season, but will he be a top 5 in receiving? Or do you think that the first 2 weeks is not good for you?
Well, just from a projection standpoint, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, I think will all be in that top 3.
All right.
So those other 2 spots, I mean, Jamar Chase, a lot of people thought he was a shoo-in top 5 receiver, but from what we've seen so far, that's not the case. So I think it's definitely possible Mike Evans can sneak his way in there. But, there's a lot of guys. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is in that conversation. And then as well as, a guy like right now, Puca Nakua is in the conversation.
Absolutely.
And Devontae Smith's been incredible for the Eagles. Devontae Adams for the Raiders has been really good. So there's a lot of really good receivers right now. But yeah, I think it's possible.
Okay, I just want to highlight Michael Parsons with his 2 sacks, 3 TFLs this week. So good, very great. I mean, he's only 24 years old. 5 more years, man, with these Cowboys, and he's going to have put up in a stellar career with the Cowboys. What do you think about that?
It's a shame he's never going to win a Super Bowl in Dallas.
I would have to probably agree with you. I don't know how I feel about the Cowboys. At least offensively. Defensively, they're stellar, best in the league. Offensively speaking, I don't think I see it with them this year. Now I want to highlight Montez Sweat and Chase Young. Great edge rushing duo. I mean, they put up both 1.5 sacks each. What do you think about that? Top 5 edge rushing duo?
I don't know if I could say top 5, but top 10 I would say. I mean, the Commanders, they're going to go as far as their defense can take them, but
there's a lot of teams like that so far.
So good. I think they have about 4 more wins left in them this season. That's just me. But they got some easy ones out of the way. They beat an 0-2 Cardinals and an 0-2 Broncos. So I'm not gonna put too much weight into that yet. But I will say, when I look at I think there's 4 2-0 teams that aren't any good, and of those 4, I think that my ranking would be Commanders, then Bucks, then Falcons, and then probably
Saints.
I think the Saints are better than that.
Okay.
So maybe the Saints, then Commanders, then Falcons and Bucks.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that.
Interesting. Okay. Now I got a couple more. Bradley Chubb in Miami, getting it done in New England. He's coming off that injury in Denver. I'm pretty sure. I'm assuming this is the Bradley Chubb that's on the Dolphins, right? That Bradley Chubb that got drafted by the Broncos and went into Miami. Yeah, he's getting it done after riddled with injuries early in his career, and now he's coming back. It's showing that he's becoming more of the piece that I think everyone thought he would turn out to be. What do you think about that?
I feel like everyone gets better in New England. So I don't know. If
Well, no, but he's in Miami. He's playing in Miami. He's a Miami player.
Oh, he's still with Miami.
He's still with Miami. Yes.
And playing against the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Miami's defense is fine.
Just
Bradley,
not
but
a lot of confidence.
I feel like Bradley Chubb could step up and be a leader for them. Yeah.
All right. And then 2 more. Taysom Hill, 9 rushing attempts, 85 yards. Is he vying for RB number 1, or is it just because Kamara's out that he's just getting these opportunities?
Jamal Williams has not been good for the Saints.
I think he's been abysmal.
I believe he is, out of the 32 starting running backs in the NFL, he is the worst of the 32 in terms of production. He's not scoring. Raheem Shaheed had a rushing touchdown in week 1, and then this week, Tony Jones, the backup, ends up with 2 rushing touchdowns. Jamal Williams, 0 rushing touchdowns. So he's clearly not the answer. Kamara suspended. So, yeah, they've leaned on Taysom Hill last night, and it worked a lot. But we've seen him do this before. Last year, the Saints beat the Seahawks. My Seahawks, I remember that game. Taysom Hill rushed for 2 touchdowns and threw one as well in that game. Taysom Hill, he has like this thing where like once a month Taysom Hill has like the greatest game ever, and then he just kind of disappears.
That's true.
And that's, I mean, I think he's like the 3rd best backup quarterback in the NFL because he actually plays. Like,
yeah.
I would say Dalton's the best just because of all the experience that he has.
That's true.
I think after that, you could say Taysom Hill's the 2nd best backup, and I don't think there's much of an argument for that because Taysom gets so much value out of him from special teams, running back, tight end. Plus, when he was the starting quarterback, they went like 5-2. So I see no reason. I mean, there's no flaw in Taysom Hill's game.
Do you think the Saints are not utilizing him enough, or do you think that they're utilizing him just perfectly?
Because if they utilize him too much, they take away the element of surprise.
That's true.
But the amount they utilize.
But everyone knows he's coming, though. Everyone knows that he's there.
My Seahawks clearly didn't last year, and the Panthers did. I mean, when Taysom Hill's, you should assume when Taysom Hill's in the game, he's gonna run. Because if there is a weak link in his game, he can't throw a deep ball.
No, he can't.
And he doesn't throw well into like double coverage. So he throws the ball well when it's an open receiver in midfield. That's when he's good at. So he can do like the trick plays if a guy gets open, but he's not going to sit back and throw the ball. Taysom Hill's not coming in there to throw a 40-yard pass to Chris Olave. He's in the game so he can run. And yet the Panthers still let him rush for like 70 yards last night. So I honestly think that they utilize him perfectly.
All right.
When he does play, he usually plays well, and in the games that he doesn't play, they usually feel like they don't need him.
Okay. Then my last key player performance of the week, with Chubb going out in the 2nd quarter, Jerome Ford gets it done on 13 carries, 105 yards. Do you think that Jerome Ford will become a 1,000-yard rusher this year? Or maybe let's not say 1,000. I think 1,000 is probably within it because Chubb's out. How about 1,200-yard rusher?
Well, I'll tell you what. This morning, I went to the waiver wires, and last week I picked up Josh Kelly in 3 of my leagues and started him in all 3.
And he did terrible.
And he got me 3 fantasy points, and I still managed to go 3-2-1 on the week, which I'm pretty excited about. I've never tied before, so that was pretty cool. But I dropped Josh Kelly in all 3 of those leagues, and in 2 of them, the replacement is Jerome Ford. I think Jerome Ford might be a little more of a sustainable option at running back because he's the lead guy now, and people are saying maybe could they sign Kareem Hunt, who they had last year. But even if they bring in Kareem Hunt, I think Jerome Ford's the guy. I wouldn't say 1,200 though. That's a lot.
1,200. What do you think is a realistic number for Jerome Ford?
I mean,
this is only week 2.
I would say realistic. I think he can get to 800 and push towards 1,000. It also depends on. What are they going to do about Deshaun Watson? Because Watson's best when he's throwing the ball. And they're not letting him throw the ball right now. They clearly don't trust him to throw the ball.
I don't think it's the trust. I think the Browns...
Maybe he's just not good anymore.
No, I think the Browns know what they're doing. I think they got that run game going. I think you saw it last night. I mean, with Chubb out, you would assume, man, that run game is shut down. No, their offensive line is stellar. Jerome Ford looked fantastic. I forget who's the third string back, but he was also getting those carries, and he was also getting those receiving receptions and whatnot. They look good in the backfield. I don't think it's because Deshaun Watson's not good. I just think they understand who they are. They are a run first string.
Okay.